There are stories whispered among the trees. If you listen closely with your heart, you will hear tales of a people born of the ancient redwood trees. 4 clans emerged and set forth on the long journey to their lands. Each clan carried with them a walking stick from the beloved redwood. The stories you're about to hear have been carried by every tree, passed down quietly and lovingly through roots deeply buried. They speak of the little guardians and their lives filled with joy and pain. Here are their stories. I wanted to make a video kind of explaining what this case is. It is a backdrop for the story that I'm writing. And everything was made with nature and thrift store finds. The fireplace up here was made from a Mountain Dew can, after I got done drinking it, of course. There are little books. Because my fairies like to read. The clan that you see here is the Oak Tree clan. And their tree spirit took up residence once they found their lands. And he oversees all of their ceremonies, all of the naming of the Fae. The walls I used wrapping paper, and if you Mod Podge them and then run a varnish pen over them, you'll get an aged look. The pipe that they like to smoke has real tobacco on a little acorn top and then a walnut shell with the pipe inside. The seat covers, if you take twine and put glue all over it and wind it around, once it dries it's clear and you can get chair pads and rugs. Same thing to make baskets and the rug down here. In the squirrel lookout, there's real bird seed. Acorn tops work great for anything. And branches, just with moss. I use a lot of sheet moss and forest moss. And the stairway was tricky because I was working within 7 inches of space. Trying to get the depth to look like a spiral staircase to connect the enchanted forest. This bench was piecing different parts of driftwood together. It's amazing in nature, the shapes that you can find. And I wanted it to be a place where the fairies could sit and relax. And this is a replica of the book that I'm writing. The back piece of this bench, I use a lot of thrift store finds for candle holders and take them apart. This little stone was a gift from one of my favorite artists, David Zen. He's a chalk artist out of Ann Arbor, and he made it specifically for my case, which is pretty amazing. I use a lot of pebbles. One of the things I find when you're building within a small space is to layer. You'll get a lot of depth that way. See how branches are just kind of put together to give that look that it goes back farther. I wanted to give the illusion that you are seeing the back side of this world, that it goes further back. And as it evolves with the book, I'm thinking eventually you won't see the back wall at all. This table was made using jewelry boxes. If you open them up and glue them together, and you can get a nice little wood table. The chairs were made using a bracelet for the seats and pine cone seeds for the backs. I was pretty lucky to get a huge pine cone from North Carolina. It works really nice. Gives you about a 1-inch seed. There's a path back there. I like to make it look like you can only see portions, that there's an actual living world within this. The cobblestone I made using a piece of cardboard and cement that you can get pre-mixed, and then just inserting stones into them and letting it dry. My character here, I used a lot of deer skin to make his hat, hand sewn, same thing with all of his accessories, and he was needle felted. He's one of the 3 brothers that I have in my story that traveled from Scotland and set up residence in the Oak Tree Clan's forest. The door is made from clay, just an air dry clay. And then I used a paint process where you just go from dark to light to get your highlights. Those are real flowers in the entryway. This is a plant called a jack-o'-lantern plant, and it's beautiful when you put lights into it. I use a lot of fairy lights. I insert them as I work within an area. And I like old jewelry pieces. I kind of reimagine them. And this is interesting. I don't know if you can see it, but this was a little stick that I found. And to me, it looks like there's a face right within it. And it's just the natural disease that gets on branches. But I think it was a gift. Apples were made with air dry clay. Same thing with the cup. You can make a teapot with using acorns. My addition, that's pretty new, was using a candle holder, taking it apart to make a bay window. And then I built within it the leather chair and books and shelves. The ale barrel is using copper tape and clay. And then all of the plants that you see in here, I do a lot of, when I go to the thrift store, I look for plants that I can take apart, especially smaller pieces that are in arrangements. You can get them for so cheap. I ended up being able to do this case for about the cost of about $22, and that's including a lot of glue sticks. So I hope that kind of explains some of the things that I've done to make this case. I think that if you just look at nature and look at the natural shapes of things, a lot of times it'll just tell me what it wants to be. And I think that's so exciting. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know I've made a few videos, but I wanted to kind of explain some of what I've done and what the reasons for it are. And as I get further along, I'll do some more. And if anyone has any other questions, I'd love to be able to help and answer. This is such a beautiful world to just go into and lose yourself for a while and imagine a people that are living within it. Thank you.